from Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs, from Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff, to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C, to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano, to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast.
You see, children drugs are bad, and that's why you shouldn't abuse pain medicine. Starting this beautiful pre-Super Bowl episode, want to talk baseball. Shh. Nobody give a damn about baseball.
Just because I want to talk about the Mariners, I got to be high as a kite, stealing my doggy's drugs and shit. Is that what it is?
Each and every single one of them.
Well, shoot, I'm a Mariners fan, man. That's the only way to get me through, bro.
Absolutely. I'm not saying I blame you. I'm just saying don't stay crazy shit until after we get to spring training.
My crazy shit's going down, man. I am delusionally optimistic about this beloved Mariners, baby.
Well, a broken clock is right twice a day, so we'll see what happens.
My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. Shout out to super producer Indy out there in Nashville, Tennessee, rocking the ones and twos. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services. Shout out to all the homies in the live chat, bringing the fire, bringing the knowledge, bringing the jokes. And on my, oh my, we can't, we won't, and we don't stop. RG in Albuquerque, hit us with their best shot.
Man. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? When I bought that Aston Martin, y'all thought it was rented? Flexing on these, because I'm like popping on that spinach double M. Yeah, that's my team. Rose, the captain. I'm lieutenant. Oh, man, I just can't wait. This has been the worst Sunday ever. Worst Sunday ever. I'm off work. There's nothing to do, nothing sports-wise I really, really want to watch. I don't give a damn about the Pro Bowl. And then I have to wait 7 more fucking days to get this thing rocking, man. I'm jittery. I'm jittery. Maybe I need to take some of Birdie's medicine. Shit. But it's time to go to work.
Let's do it, baby. Well, today, Sunday evening, February 2nd, it's been exactly 11 years since my favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, won the Super Bowl. But let's flip the script immediately. Yeah, man, we live in a mediocrity right now. It's all good. We get there. We get there. For real, though, man.
Wow, that was an ass whooping. Y'all just didn't win the Super Bowl. That was a bona fide ass whooping. Most of the games really have been competitive. In recent memory, they were actually showing some good highlights of some of the older games back in the day, and just made me feel real old that win is 11 years old. Just twist the knife in, why don't you? But nah, man, I think that might have been the last bona fide ass whooping in the Super Bowl.
As far as my recollection, because what's crazy too, bro, is we'll get into the live chat. We know that some of our homies are all fired up about the coaching carousel. But when we were younger, it was almost always an ass beating, especially the NFC for the most part growing up. Then we've had a run for about 25 years where it's all been fantastic football games, minus a couple here and there. But let's just dive into the Super Bowl really quick, homies. We'll go deep into the coaching carousel in a minute. But RG, man, we all know how you're feeling, unless you're a under age 30 Cowboys fan. No, but seriously, bro, I want to hear from your perspective. They're your favorite team. To me, it's always about the matchups. Coming to the Super Bowl, these coaches and players have 2 weeks to prepare. There's a couple key matchups I'm going to look for. What, in your opinion, are you looking for your Eagles to do? And what is there possible weaknesses that could get them exposed?
If Jurgens and Dickerson are not healthy on the offensive line, Chris Jones is just going to cause headaches all night for us. And not so much that he himself will be doing it, but he's just going to give the people around him the opportunity to eat. And we really, really can't have that. Um, I think that health is our biggest enemy going into this. I'm more confident in the game plan that Kellen Moore and Nick Fangio can put together than I was in how I watched the second half of Steichen and Gannon handle our Super Bowl appearance. Um, Most important thing, the team made it to New Orleans safe. God knows air travel has been nuts over the last few days. So shout out that they were able to get there safe. And I'm really just excited for what I think is going to be another good game. I don't see us getting blown out in any stretch of the imagination. And really, other than Mahomes being Mahomes, I really think we match up well across the board with him. I thought we did the last time too. Just the way that we were attacking them from a philosophy standpoint, the second half just didn't make sense. Had a couple calls not go our way. Like everyone wants to talk about the fumble that Jalen had. That was in the second quarter, and we still had a 10-point lead at halftime. We just didn't come out and execute in the second half, and that shank punt killed us. But again, as we move forward into the last 7 days before it's time to put up and shut up, I'm I'm feeling good about it. I'm just antsy to hurry up and get to it, and I want to get to it without any distractions or dumb shit throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, no doubt. We've seen some crazy shit happen with some of these players and coaches off the field leading up to the Super Bowl. And for me, I was looking at it, and it's no secret. Right tackle Jawan Taylor for the Chiefs. He has the second most penalties in all of football this year. Can Sweat and Smith provide too much speed off the edge for him to handle? The Chiefs, if they don't give him help on almost all of the obvious passing downs, that could be the game wrecker in the Eagles' favor. So I'm super curious about the Eagles' edge versus the offensive tackle Taylor, who's grabbing and holding every chance he gets, a lot of which aren't called. And then you were talking about your Eagles interior offensive line trying to hold their own with Chris Jones. I'll flip the script and also say another crucial element is the Chiefs. We know that they have an outstanding interior offensive line, but we know that your Georgia Bulldogs up the gut with Carter and Jordan Davis, those two are man all on their own right. So it'll be really interesting to see. No surprise, line of scrimmage game. It's kind of an incestuous game too, because we know Andy Reid, Howie Roseman, a lot of the same philosophies in terms of team building. Both teams really put forth an effort to fortify the line of scrimmage. So I absolutely love it. I'm absolutely pumped. The only thing I'm disappointed about, RG, is the commercials just don't hit the same anymore.
I think the commercials don't hit the same anymore because how can you top what we've grown up to and what we've been accustomed to? Plus, they may not hit the same for you, but somebody making money. What was it? $8 million for a 30-second spot this year. So they hitting something. Somebody's bank account getting cha-ching. Um, but yeah, man, and I do like that. I think our secondary is better than it was this time last year, where Quinion doesn't have to hold as much as Bradbury does to be able to keep himself in the better position. But it's just going to be fun, man. I just want to get to next Sunday and speed home from work. Hopefully, I no dumb shit on the road, so I don't have to be stuck in the car suffering by myself and not being able to check it out on my beautiful new Sony TV. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, let's just give a quick heads up to everyone. We'll remind everybody when we close out the episode, but we are definitely going to go live after the Super Bowl ends. After the Super Bowl ends, don't look for us 5:30 normal time, Pacific time that is. look for us after the Super Bowl. I can't wait either. It's a rematch that I think most football fans would want to see. And another way to look at it, RG, is you keep talking about the history for the Chiefs going for the three-peat. There's a little bit of history for the Eagles themselves because I heard something really interesting over the week that they're the only GM to ever win Super Bowls with a different coach and quarterback combo is the great Ozzie Newsome. Hall of Fame tight end should be Hall of Fame GM, in my opinion, for the Baltimore Ravens. Howie Roseman will be looking to be the second per GM to win a championship with a different quarterback and coach. So regardless, a little bit of history will be made either way. And I hate to do it, man, but Lord knows I'm riding with the Eagles on this one. And it's not like I'm one of those guys that really hates the Chiefs that much, but I do want to see someone else get to the mountaintop and feel how great it must feel to truly be a world champ.
Well, I've been saying it for months now. I love Ric Flair too much to be the man. You got to beat the man, and we got a chance to beat the man and get there. Now, my homie Sunday Evening Media is talking the language that I'm ready to talk about. Eagles money line, Jalen Hurts anytime TD, Patty Mahomes over one interception. That sounds like it is worth a sprinkle, baby. And for those of you who live in a state where you could take advantage of some of the offers that are coming out on FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM, be sure to hop all over something like that. Me myself personally, I can bet the game at the casino, but for props, we only have one casino here that does props, and you can't parlay anything. So I might have to indulge in some prize picks, even though I don't like the way that their odds come out. I think they're kind of robbing people. But absolutely, man, I'm got to sprinkle on Eagles money line, sprinkle a little bit on the spread. If I can see what kind of props that they got to take, I always pick purple for the color of Gatorade and actually hit on it last year. So, yeah, man, can't wait, man. Can't wait. It's a gambler's holiday. It should be considered a national holiday. The Monday after Super Bowl, everybody over the age of 25, if you submit a day off, you should be given to it by company guidelines because they know you showing up to work hungover. Just stop the bullshit already. Let a brother live.
Let's do it, baby. I heard a great stat. My stat of the year right now, bro, is the number one day for sick callouts is Monday after the Super Bowl.
As well as it should be. You've been drinking since 12. You're probably gonna drink until at least the last 2 minutes of the fourth. And then if your team wins, you gotta get at least an hour of celebration in. So yeah. You'd be asinine to that employer to think that any male adult 18 or 50 has been at home sober all day before. You're just fooling yourself. Yeah, man, but I like where you're at Sunday Evening Media. Last time the over hit, so maybe a little sprinkle on the over as well too. Um, we could definitely discuss that as we move forward a little bit in the show tonight. But yeah, it's a good time, man. Be good and excited. If you are going to play responsibly. Don't play with your rent money. Don't play with your kids' birthday money. I mean, I don't really care if you do. I just figure I got to give us some type of disclaimer so somebody don't come after. Yeah, man.
Ooh. Well, I mean,
yeah, man.
Super Bowl's around the corner.
And now you were talking. Sorry, you were talking
go.
about some history too. Let's gotta give the man his flowers. I know that Burrow and Allen and Lamar get a big bulk of the headlines. Jalen is the eighth quarterback to start a Super Bowl in the first 5 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL, joining some pretty good Hall of Fame names, including the guy he's going to be sharing the field with. I want to give Jalen his flowers, but I also can't do it before we get out here and ball out. We did this. This is the redemption tour for him, all the way back to getting benched for 2 in Alabama. This is it for him. need him to come out and play with that chip on the shoulder. But hey, I believe if we take care of the ball and don't do any turnovers, and we just be us, man, it's coming back to Philly.
I think so too. I mean, for me, the bottom line is if we go player for player, which would take way too long for a podcast, but let's just think about the rosters. To me, Philly has a much better roster player for player, but then I'm giving the edge in Kansas City to coaching and quarterback. So to me, that equals a toss it. So I'm just pumped though. You said it. Quinyon Mitchell, incredible draft pick. Cooper DeJean, incredible draft pick. Bringing back Gardner Johnson, great signing. And then of course we talked about Zach Braun coming out of special teams, one leg out the door of the NFL. Now he's defensive player of the year candidate. Oh, what are we? The right guard, Mekhi Becton, first round bust for the New York Jets, coming up. Every time I look, he's pancaking a dude, and Saquon's busting out an explosive run. So I just love that it's not always the obvious superstars. It's the team that can get the most out of random spots that really end up in the Super Bowl. The Eagles have done that, and now they got to try to slay the dragon. And I couldn't be more happy, though, because this truly is all the makings for an epic Super Bowl because there's so much on the line for both teams.
There is. There is. Just let's hope both teams get healthy. I don't want to hear any excuses. And I really hope that they've had in their meetings a real emphasis on don't let the guys in the white shirts define how this game is played. Blatant stuff, yeah. But there's a time when you're going to need to tuck your flag in and let them play and let us play. Let us just go out there and man up and get this thing over with. Don't let nobody get killed. But, yeah, I would and I hate that narrative about always getting the call. And I just hate trying to push that because it seems cheap. Because you can listen to everybody else in this space going ahead and do that. I don't want to be the one. Just hope they let us play as straight up as possible.
Absolutely. Here's one thing too, just involving the soft calls and the no calls and whatever. And this goes out to like the whole quarterback protection rules in general. If I were some of these teams, I might be telling my Eagles defensive players, dude, don't be afraid to just blast Mahomes. If we're going to get a 15-yard penalty regardless, go ahead and knock the shit out of him. Knock the living snot out of him. And maybe it is a 15-yard penalty, but maybe it sends that message. Let's go back a decade, man. Everyone remembers when Cam Chancellor took Vernon Davis's soul along the sidelines up here in Seattle. They called a 15-yard penalty, and it was probably the best penalty ever taken that I've ever seen, just because of what it did for the mentality of the Seahawks, the mentality of the 49ers. And then it's a quarterback too. You could really take the soul of the Chiefs if you put Mahomes in 50% health type of situation. I don't wish injury on nobody. But it comes to a certain point where maybe 15 yards is the cost of doing business to send a message that, hey, we don't care about you tiptoeing around. We don't care about you bending the rules in your favor, which he clearly does on a lot of these runs. So my advice would be go knock the snot out of him, and then let's roll from there.
Preacher. Preacher. Yeah, now I'm gonna let y'all get into it a little bit. We got some Mariner. We got some Seahawks fans that join us each and every week here in the chat, and there has been some movement with your guys' team going on, and some movement with some people going back to Alabama. Chip Kelly decided to go back to the NFL. We got a new head coach in New York. We got a new head coach in Tampa. We got a new head coach in Chicago. So since you like that off the hot stove off media stuff, go ahead and take us through it a little bit.
Let's do it, baby. Well, it all started out right away from the homies from Texas. Let's start out with Tay Williams. No offense, Texas Power. The Dallas Cowboys are the biggest brand in pro football. Whether you love them or hate them, Jerry Jones hires what dirty dozen naughty rotten rhymer cursing at you players worse than Brian Schottenheimer? That doesn't sound like that Eminem line. I'm tripping, man. That doesn't sound like it's from the Slim Shady LP. Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, though, bro, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I think it. I think it's a way better move than everyone's saying, to be honest. Because let's lay down the. I want to lay down a couple facts here. What I know, because Brian Schottenheimer had a very successful 3-year run with the Seahawks. Let's go back to the Jets. He was the OC for a number one rushing team. The season that he got fired from, the Seahawks were the number one rushing team. His 3 seasons as OC for the Seahawks, they were a top 10 scoring offense in each of those 3 seasons, seventh, ninth, and seventh. So this guy can clearly coach some offensive football, but it's clearly not a sexy hire. And to me, the frustration would be is if the Jones family could put their egos aside in that front office. Last year, they really could have gotten a Sean Payton or a Bill Belichick. They need to keep enough control of their business. I get it. They're the owners. It's their business. But I don't think there's any sane person on the planet that would take Brian Schottenheimer over a Bill Belichick or a Sean Payton, when clearly those guys would have gone to a place like Dallas if the Jones family would have given them the power they need to run the operation the way they see fit. But this is how it goes. And although it's $1 billion entity, Dallas is a family business at the end of the day.
Sure is, man. And it's a damn shame to see. I just don't know how you could put up with it, that your downfall is your owner. And not so much in the sense that how we deal with it, the Mariner fans, that he doesn't want to come out of his pocket and spend for us to be competitive. I don't think that Jerry has that issue. Just Jerry has to be the star. And I don't know any football team that has ever won a game because the owner does a Tuesday morning a Tuesday morning radio show talking about how he feels about things. I haven't seen any other owner have his own post-game press conference where he's giving you the breakdown on what he thinks should be better. You have a chance to do that. It's called the off season. Why is it that you just can't let the team be the team? But again, that's Cowboy fans know what they have signed up for, especially since you've been down this stroke since '96. You already know what it is. I just would hate to see. I mean, no other valuable team does that. Shout out to the homie Tay Williams. He says we are the most expensive joke in the world. I don't see the owners of Real Madrid coming out and doing post game press conferences. I don't see. I've never saw George Steinbrenner want to make it about him. And when he did get on the TV, he would just piss you off because he'd say, my pockets are bigger than yours, and I'm going to go buy whatever I need to go buy to make us the best team in baseball. Just until Jerry gets out of his way, man, this cycle for the Cowboys is just going to continue. And it's sad to see, man. It's just sad to see.
For sure, for sure. I see a couple of the Seahawks fans like Mariners Lifer and Sunday Evening. They're both correct that in especially the final season before Brian Schottenheimer was fired by the Seahawks, the offense kind of fell off the face of the earth the last few weeks. And then Tyson Baxter saying Mike Tomlin, kind of the same thing. And this is the tough dynamic in football at any level, is because you need to practice your plays. You need to have the confidence that you can execute your plays. And the only way of doing so is practicing them with your teammates a good amount. But there's also the other hand where you have to be able to morph. You have to be able to mutate into different schemes now and then to be able to beat your opponent, or else you're just running into a brick wall over and over and over again. If it was that easy, I'd be getting Mike Tomlin's paycheck. Clearly I don't, but it's an obvious dynamic that you always have to balance what you're good at versus what you need to do to be able to scheme up your opponent.
Jeez, man. I I'm kind of lucky that as frustrated as he made me at times before we got into this new space that we've been in with how he wants his philosophy changed, but he moves methodically, that every move is to set up the next move, and is always thinking about, if I don't have this, how can I go out and get that to be able to keep us competitive? So I'm really grateful for that. Um, I just don't know what it's going to take. I just don't know what it's going to take. I'm one of those people who believe that when the big dogs are involved in everything, that it makes it better. I'm one of those people who are happy to see the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. So once you get the top of the heap playing at that level, it just makes it better if your team isn't in it. I believe that the Knicks and the Lakers should be involved in the playoffs just because it's same thing. Just when history is involved, it makes it a little bit better. To not have the Cowboys be relevant in the postseason space for a very long time now is not only disappointing to their fan base, but we talk about how baseball was able to generate all types of bank with the World Series this year. What do you think does for pocketbooks the next time the Cowboys make the NFC Championship and God forbid the fucking Super Bowl?
Phew. I mean, they're the most popular brand of maybe in all of America. They're easily a top five sports brand in the entire world. It's that simple.
I really think only Real Madrid and Barcelona compete with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
hey, but yeah, man, if that's how he wants to conduct his business, good luck, Mr. Schottenheimer. Good luck.
Oh boy. Talk about jumping into it. We'll get really deep into it in a minute. But that was shocking news. When I saw that they hired Brian Schottenheimer, I was shocked. We'll go NBA a little bit later. We got some more NFL to talk here. But it's fun when you're stunned. It really is. It sucks at times, though, because the most stunning play in Super Bowl history was probably an interception on the 1 yard line, but that's neither here nor there right now. So Texas Power is asking us about their offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, got fired after 2 seasons. I personally was very surprised. Maybe Texas Power Ranger wasn't, but I thought they did a really good job with the rookie quarterback, second year quarterback now, shaky offensive line. Two of their best receivers go down with catastrophic injuries. So you could kind of see that there was a step back coming. And to be honest, Texas Power, I have no clue where the Houston Texans are going to go at this point, especially because the longer you wait, the more the coaching pool kind of dries up. And that leads me to the Saints. I don't want to get into them, but they haven't even hired a coach yet. They are going to have the bad news bears of a fucking NFL coaching staff right now because all the good ones are getting plucked up right away. And then two unbelievable all world coaches who weren't in the mix last year. That's Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. They're back in the football game. And so those two with those ties, they're snatching up a lot of the good coaches left and right. I just think, God, at least my Seahawks have some coaches. Maybe some of these teams are going to try to take guys from your Eagles staff, maybe guys from the Chiefs staff. But one thing we know, it's better to wait and get the right head coach, man. But then you might end up like the Seahawks and you're kind of desperate to fill out your staff.
I know I that just kind of makes me believe with the Saints that Kellen is high on their list if they're willing to wait to suspend it. Because if you had somebody who wasn't occupied in this weekend's games, why wouldn't you make the effort to go after him? So just lets me know that I think Kellen is high on their list. And if he ends up going, I'm not against anybody getting a new job and making more money because I wouldn't be against that in real life. So I'm not going to let fandom not allow me to be happy for another human being leveling up. Um, then I even seen Eric Bieniemy just got picked up to be a running backs coach. So options are getting extremely limited, but I just don't know in what direction that they would want to move into if we are now going to put yourself less than 2 months from the draft and you don't even have a coach to begin to build a philosophy of what it is that you're going to go after in the draft.
Oh, it's tough. It's crazy tough, man. And then, okay, let's flip it up to the Seattle Seahawks, my favorite team. So clearly, I love the UW Huskies. Clearly, as a fan and from my heart, I desperately wanted Ryan Grubb to work for the Seahawks. The Huskies OC helped lead them to the national championship game. Oh, what a story if he came up and helped lead the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. Well, that didn't happen. Dude gets fired after 1 year. We bring in Clint Kubiak, who has a great family pedigree, but I don't know if his stats in wins on his resume equate to his family's resume necessarily. So it'll be a lot of wait and see there. The one thing I do know, RG, though, is the Seahawks offense in 2024 became extremely predictable, where if they're in shotgun, they're going to pass. If they're under center, they're going to run. There was no marriage, there was no synergy between the run and the pass. And Kubiak, whether it's successful or not, will bring in a system where the run and the pass are completely married together. And the Seahawks desperately, desperately need that. But all that being said, if we don't improve the offensive line, I don't know how much really matters after it's all said and done. But this is why we talk about this. We'll see what happens. But man, coaching carousel just keeps going round and round and round.
Ooh, and there's a conversation going on in the live chat right now that happens to talk about a guy who I think is one of the best coaches in the NFL. Excuse me, Mike Tomlin. They talk about is Mike Tomlin a Hall of Fame coach with the Hall of Fame resume? Sure, he hasn't been the same coach in the past 6 to 7 seasons. I know because we play them twice a year. That's coming from the homie Tyson Baxter. He also points out that he's 0-5 in the playoffs since 2017, 15 and 18 in December since 2017. I like Mike Tomlin. I like everything about that dude. If there was ever a way for him to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, I would jump at it. I do think that the relationship between him and Pittsburgh has been maxed out. And I don't really know what more they can do for each other. But if you are the Steelers, there's no one else on that dude's level who you're going to go out and be able to go get, because the guy who probably could replace him is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, scouting out 22-year-olds to replace his girlfriend if they ever break up. I just, when it comes to someone like Tomlin, it's not that he gets into his own way. They needed to make some moves at some coordinator positions. They needed to come up with some new philosophies on how they were going to attack on it. They still have one of the best defenses in national football, even though Hayward is getting old and Watt is having some health problems. But it's almost like that marriage is just stuck to the contract right now more than it is they are actively looking to replace him and he's looking for somewhere else to go. But I personally do think that the relationship in Pittsburgh between them and Tomlin just can't really progress to anything more than where it's already been. And that's kind of sad to say, because even though they may not be the exact brand name that the Cowboys are, they are the team. They are the team. They were the first ones to 6 Super Bowls. They were the first ones to have chances to repeat. The Steeler way has been, they've been regarded as one of the best franchises in National Football League. I just don't know what it is going to take to spark that. But I think that they're better together than they are better apart. But I also think, like I said, it's maxed out and it's just run its course, and they're not going to get anything more than not having a losing record under him.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like Mariners Lifer. I like your thinking. Mike Tomlin to the Cowboys. But once again, if the Cowboys, if the Jones family can't let the coaches do what they need to do, I don't see them being able to hire a big name proven commodity. And for Tomlin in Pittsburgh, it's tough for me too, because for me, it's kind of like if you get mediocre quarterback play at best, there's always going to be the ceiling to how much you can win. And then sometimes it's just the luck of the situation. They're in a division where they play Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson twice a year. And even the Cleveland Browns, as tumultuous as it is at quarterback for them right now, they're still a relatively dangerous team, even at 3 or 4 wins, because they have a couple of major dogs on defense. We know the weather gets shitty up there in the AFC North territory in the winter months. So sometimes you just got the bad luck if you're going against teams with elite quarterback play. Now, if you can build around those quarterbacks, it's going to be really tough. But you're right, man. Let's just think of it like this. Bill Belichick gets fired. Andy Reid gets fired. Pete Carroll gets fired. I mean, the elite of the elite coaches get fired in this league. Why would he be no different?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I don't think that they want that cloud hanging over their head. I think that the mistake that they made was the same one that the Giants made, being too faithful to Roethlisberger for the 2 Super Bowls he did win. I felt it was time for them to move on off of him when they had the chance. I could say the same thing about the Giants, is that you were loyal to your championship squad, but they got older before you were really in a position that you wanted to replace them, and then you didn't have a direction to go when you did replace them. I personally think they should let Justin Fields run. But I'm a podcaster in Albuquerque. What do I really know?
Fair enough. Well, what do you really know? I mean, I've been saying this to my friends and we've been debating and shooting the shit with each other because the Seahawks have major decisions to make this offseason. You bring up Justin Fields. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask a lot of my friends then, dude. Would you rather have Geno Smith at $35 million or Justin Fields at $10 million?
Justin Fields easily.
Yeah, see, that's kind of how I look. And if the money was equal, I would take Geno Smith.
Yeah,
but the money's not equal.
If the money was equal, I would take Geno. But they got lucky this year in the fact that Denver pretty much was paying Russell Wilson's contract, so it didn't really hurt them as much as it would have had they acquired him through other means. But Russ isn't young either. Russ isn't young, and what you get out of Russ isn't what you typically expect to see from a Pittsburgh Steeler offense. And honestly, too, George Pickens has to grow the fuck up. And that seems to be an issue that's been revolving as well, too, that you had Antonio Brown get on his bullshit after losing focus. You had Juju be on his bullshit. You had Chase Claypool be on his bullshit. Then now you got George Pickens on his bullshit, and you don't expect that from a team with the history and an organization that's ran as well as the Steelers are ran. So yeah, man, something there has to change. Something there has to change. And God knows I respect the Rooney family. They worked hand in hand with my uncle when he was the head of the Fritz Pollard Alliance. I fully agree with some of their philosophies outside of the game of football, but as far as watching them move forward, again, I like to see the legacy teams do well because that just raises, what is that? A high tide raises all ships. So yeah, I would like to see them definitely be able to get back to that kind of level as well too. So we'll see how it goes moving forward.
And they're also worried. They're also worried, man. They've been with somebody that is fine and wonderful for a long ass time. They feel the breakup's around the corner, but they're scared to dump her. They're scared to dump her because they don't know if they can ever date somebody better than Mike Tomlin. And they damn sure know if they dump him today, he'll be hired tomorrow. There's always that fear at the end of relationships, business, coaching, owners, boyfriend, girlfriend. There's a timeline to all of this. Sometimes that timeline's forever. Sometimes it's over in a week. But man, I just love all these comments here. Hit it, man.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to update my screen here so I can follow along with the chat. Tyson Baxter, yeah, Le'Veon Bell got onto his bullshit as well too. I just think that it might be time. It might not be the right thing to do, but it might be time.
Fair enough, man.
Well, let me say that differently. It's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt, but you could always hit him with the "it's not you, it's me."
You damn right. Hey, think it just this time last year, bro. This time last year, it broke my heart when the Seahawks canned Pete Carroll. But deep down, I knew it probably had to happen.
Sir, legend has it. Miles Garrett cursed the Steelers when he hit Rudolph with the helmet. That was great. That was the greatest act on TV I think I've ever seen in a football game.
I never heard my wife so jacked up before watching football. Like she was legitimately like, "What is going on here?"
That's an interesting point too. James Harrison, but I don't know if that's something that he really wants. Because if it's something that he wanted, he would have been a part of the staff already. Because they already had Joey Porter, you know, and I know Hines Ward is earning his ranks because he's a part of the coaching staff at Arizona State. I just don't know if that's in James Harrison's plan.
Let's take a quick time out here, dude. How intimidating was James Harrison, man? That guy, there might not be a single dude I saw out there that would be like, that guy would whoop my ass with his pinky finger.
I'm sure there's still some people who in life you hope you never run into in the dark alley, and James Harrison is probably on the top of that list.
He'd be 90 years old. I'd still be
Aren't
scared shitless.
aren't him and Ocho Cinco supposed to box this weekend,
No
leading up to the
way.
Super Bowl? Oh, they canceled it.
Dude, I couldn't watch that, man. That shit was, I don't know if I could watch that shit.
To watch James Harrison go ape shit on somebody, shit, they got my money. Oh, that dude's just crazy. That dude's crazy. His eyes are afraid to close when he sleep because they're afraid.
Real
What was
talk,
that
man.
old Muhammad Ali line? He's that man so mean he makes medicine sick. Yeah.
The man that had the man with the original bars. Okay. I got a question for you then. There's one more on the coaching carousel I did really want to hit on. Pete Carroll to I'm gonna keep saying that for Pete Carroll to Las Vegas. Do I see a Super Bowl there? No, I do think it's a fantastic hire. Nonetheless, what are your thoughts on Pete Carroll to the Raiders?
I thought that Brady was going to use his friendship powers to somehow convince Brable to come there, but that didn't work out. Um, I I like Pete Carroll as a person. I think that is the most energetic 73-year-old you could ever meet in your entire life. But uh, I also think he's temporary. He's there to kind of right the ship and then see if we can get a successor behind him to kind of ride upon what he knows about having a organization be successful. But do I see him being able to be there long enough to actually turn the Raiders into a winning ball club? I don't. I don't. And that's just more of how many miles are on the guy than someone obviously 40 years younger in his position would be. But I do think he's a good coach. I think it's a good hire. I like it better than the Cowboys going after Brian Schottenheimer. I'll tell you that. Um, and he's won everywhere that he's gone, with the exception of the years he spent in New England. He's won everywhere that he's gone. So maybe he can get some under the table deals going like he did at USC and get some things popping for the Raiders. But definitely, it's not the worst decision that they could have made. Let's just hope that Davis and Brady and Richard Seymour and the rest of their brain trust do what's necessary to get them competitive in the AFC West.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, well, you said it though. That's why they're not gonna reach the mountaintop in Pete's tenure. The AFC West is freaking loaded. You're gonna come from the bottom of the NFL to the top of the AFC West in 3 years. That shit's not happening. But you're right though. The Raiders are a historic franchise that has basically been a joke this for most of this century. They've been almost a joke the entire century so far. We're a quarter of the way through it already. God, time flies. The Raiders just need someone to get the train back on the tracks. They need someone that the players will respect. They need somebody that just knows how to run a football team. And that damn sure is Pete Carroll.
Sir, let me give a shout out to Sunday Evening Media. He says Pete Carroll actually had a record of 27-21 when he was at New England. So, hey, I stand corrected.
They acquired a lot of the players that were the start of the Patriots dynasty under Pete. They got a lot of those players before, and that's it's no disrespect. You know how I feel about Bill Belichick, maybe the best coach ever, but you don't, their teams are built over time. You don't acquire your entire team in one off season. I know they made the playoffs one time, and then heck, Pete took over a team that did go to the Super Bowl.
True,
So
true.
that Desmond Howard returning the kick to the house, Brett Favre, Reggie White tossing that right tackle like he's a little kid. Oh boy.
Yes, sir. 31, excuse me, 31-24 in the New Orleans Superdome. When I think there's another Super Bowl going down in the Superdome this weekend.
Woo-hoo! Who might that be, man?
Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait. We just hope it's not one of them New Orleans Super Bowls where the lights go out for 36 minutes
Hey, I don't think you'd be
after
complaining
Kendrick.
if it was to get your Eagles back in the game, though.
It was because that's the misconception about it is a lot of people thought that it messed it up, but San Francisco played better when the lights came on, and Baltimore had to hang on to survive.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
yeah.
happened. And whether it's conspiracy or not, like San Francisco winning that game, because remember, Ray Lewis was injured the entire season, basically came back for the Super Bowl. San Francisco was playing scared of Ray Lewis. Then they had all that time during the power outage to try to figure out and adjust their game plan and realize, let's attack his ass. He's too slow now. This is not Ray Lewis of 2000. It's Ray Lewis of 2012. They started attacking him. The game completely changed. But talking about game changes, uh, let's not get there quite yet. Anything else in the National Football League, Super Bowl, anything else you really want to get at, bro?
If we are going to drag the former quarterback and current quarterback of the Cleveland Browns for his behavior, I also want to give a big one to Justin Tucker, aka Tug Diddy, baby. Tug Diddy running around Cleveland throwing baby powder like he was LeBron James before a game. Hell no, we ain't avoiding this. You only got one life to tug, and how the hell? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Just why don't you just take the full service menu option when you at the rub and tug instead of trying to order off the value meal and see how long you can stretch it? And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, fair is fair, man. Deshaun Watson got trashed on for years after this. We got to keep it real on this show. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing, man? You're in the National Football League. If you got to go to a rub and tug to get it on, man, your game must be worse than mine at any point. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
He is. He is. He freaky. He's freaky, and he needs to stay his ass inside. And you know what? Honestly, I can't wait for it. Drake gonna get fried during the Super Bowl. Justin Tucker getting fried. I mean, hey, my kicker in Philadelphia, Jake Elliott, he's been mediocre at best this year, and he's kind of fallen off the wagon. I wonder if they be going into the tugs to get the 2-for-1 special. Yeah, freaky ass boy need to stay your ass inside.
Oh, small anecdote, dude.
This is why we need AI robot masseuses for freaks like him. Nah, dog, just get what you pay for and get out. And I said, you can't. I don't know any other place in the world where you can go when they're obviously going to give you the option. And instead of you just buying the top dollar steak, you try to dine and dash for $28.95. That ain't gonna work.
Justin Tucker, man, who would have guessed? I said this before. He knew that shit was going to come out, and that's part of why he was kicking so shitty this year.
You need to be out there making all them damn kicks, and no one would have had anything to investigate. Hugging out the window. Me love you long time. Me love you long time.
Well, dude's from Texas, man. Maybe it was against his family, and he's got some sort of Asian fetish going on, trying to keep it on the down low out here.
If he's from Texas, he should have gone to Houston. Deshaun Watson found 28 of them freaky ass bitches. What the fuck you doing in Cleveland when the numbers are smaller?
Oh shit, man.
I mean, sorry, Baltimore, but that's even you mean to tell me under the shadow of our nation's capital, you like there ain't senators running around going to these places and whatnot? How come they always pick the bitches who can keep their mouth shut, and you and Deshaun Diddy happen to pick the ones who are looking for paydays? Stick to those pure Asian ones who don't want to get deported. Just my advice to you, player.
We got Robert Kraft. He is going to sign Deshaun Watson and Justin Tucker, and they'll make it all a little party.
I can live comfortably knowing AB is still the biggest freak in the AFC door. Oh, man. Freaky ass boys need to stay their ass inside.
Holy smokes.
I'm excited for you to hear Drake get fried during the Super Bowl.
Is it coming? You think it's coming?
I think he has to do Not Like Us. That's the reason why they picked this boy.
Yeah. And my stance.
The reason they picked this boy.
It should have been Lil Wayne.
It's because of the heat and success of that song.
Whew.
Now, I know that there might be the issue with him using the P word on national TV, but personally can't wait to hear it. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm going crazy. I'm hoping I'm out of work by that time just so I can walk around and, he a 69 God.
Dude, I want to hear 70,000 people at the Super Bowl yelling A minor.
OVO.
If y'all don't know, RG and myself like the hip hop too, so we got to get this in.
This has to be the makings of the best Super Bowl and the best Super Bowl halftime show ever.
Oh.
Ever. It would have been like if they would have allowed Tupac to get up and do Hit 'Em Up during the Super Bowl. I love Biggie. Hit 'Em Up might still be the best diss song ever written in the course of hip hop over the last 55 years.
Cost some shit, that's for sure.
They're going to sue that boy Cade out, That's another reason why he's not like us. Take your L like a man. You got no problem with him using bots to help you push that horrible ass, two of your horrible ass last records, but yeah, it's all right. I won't get into that. Okay. Man, it's still going down in the NBA. Another trade just happened, but let's talk about the one that shocked the shit out of everybody last night. When the Dallas Mavericks said, we've had enough of Slovenia and it's time to get you the fuck up out of here. Had to get that boy the fuck up out of here. First time in league history that two all pros had ever been traded for each other at this point of the season. And yes, we're talking about the Dallas Mavericks sending Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, man. Anthony Davis. I was just as shocked as everybody. I had to hit refresh. I thought it was April Fool's when I seen that alert last night. But we know it's official. The Mavs announced today that the trade is official. And I honestly got to say, I think this makes the Mavs a lot better than it makes the Lakers. And it obviously is a writing on the wall for the Lakers that they know they got to start making plans to move on from LeBron James. Old and reliable. Yeah, you got to give yourself more credit than that, Mr. Baxter.
Dude, that it's crazy though, man. You texted me last night and I didn't even know what to think. I thought it was a joke at first, man. You said you're hitting refresh. I don't Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic in the middle of a Saturday night. And like I told you, I was even watching a little bit of the Lakers at the Knicks. I saw Anthony Davis wasn't playing. I didn't think nothing of it. It's the NBA. Dudes rest all the time. Drives me crazy. It is what it is at this point. But, dude, the Mavs must have been so fed up, though. They must have been so fed up behind the scenes. Do you remember, though, last year after they win the Western Conference Finals and Luka Doncic is in the back drinking a beer and Michael Finley from the front office, a great hooper when we were younger, just grabs the beer right out of his hands, kind of like
losing his mind.
That must have been our tell back then. Doncic clearly has never been big on, great conditioning. He clearly doesn't give a fuck about defense, but he is one of the most dynamic scorers we've seen in a very long time. And at 25 years old, and to me, RG, obviously it wasn't all cool behind the scenes, but I never thought they were going to trade a guy like Doncic, especially when they kept Dirk Nowitzki for his entire career. I thought he was the next European. 21, 22 years. That's unbelievable time of one team, but shocker. Absolute shocker. I'm looking at it like you, though. I don't know how the Lakers can guard anyone anymore, though. They have to literally outscore everybody right now because 40-year-old LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic guarding on the perimeter. Shoo, that's a mess. And then on the other side, Kyrie and Anthony Davis. I think that's a pretty sexy combo, bro.
I think so too. And it gets Anthony Davis what he wanted because he kept saying that the Lakers needed a 5 so he can go back to playing the 4. Not only do the Mavs have 1-5 with Gifford, they got a second one with Derek Lively coming off the bench. Yeah, man, they might be built for some damage moving forward in it. And just because I like the tinfoil shit behind it, I did not know that the Mavs general manager, Nico Holloway, was Kobe's Nike rep, and Rob Pelinka. Well, I didn't know this part of that. Rob Pelinka, the general manager and president of the Lakers, was Kobe's agent. So these two have worked together on deals for a lifetime now. So the secrecy of it is no shock to me now because they know each other. And even Nico let a little bit of it drop, said they talked about it a week ago, was like, would you ever consider this? And was like, could this really be an option? Apparently so. Apparently so. When was the last time a move like this went down on a team that LeBron was on without LeBron having a cosign for it? So that lets you know that all ain't well in the city of Angels and that they're looking forward to what's life going to be after him. And I, for one, am not mad at it. You have to. That guy's not going to play forever, even though he's a freak of an athlete, probably one of the best conditioned athletes that we ever have had. This is the Lakers we're talking about, and their goal overall at the end of the day is championships. And they're not really they were willing to do it for Kobe, but they ain't gonna let LeBron get no welfare tour off on them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they've given LeBron so much power too. He has had so much say in a lot of the moves they've made, most of which have made the team worse. I think LeBron was the only person on the planet that thought Russell Westbrook was a better fit with them than Caldwell Pope. KCP is the perfect player to play with a dude like LeBron James. And I'm not even trying to slam on LeBron. We're just looking at it because this is literally the biggest in season trade we've ever seen. It's not even, it's the type of trade where everyone's double, triple, quadruple checking. Like, this shit can't be real. I didn't even know how my wife asked me last night. She's like, you're saying this is such a crazy trade. Well, what's it like? I was like, I have nothing to compare it to. It's that big of a trade and that shocking of a trade. So, we love football. We love the Mariners. I'm getting back in the NBA a little bit. Here's one thing I will definitely say though, RG, is this is the sort of move that can bring people back in just because of the holy shit aspect of it.
True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Um, I've been saying that the problem that they're going to have in the next 3 to 5 years, once LeBron and Curry and Durant are out of the league, is that there's not a true American superstar in the NBA, which is mind boggling when you look at it like that. Because you got Giannis, who obviously is Greek. You got Jokic, who's from Serbia. You got Luka, who's Slovenian. You got Wimby, who's French. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's Canadian. You can't tell me that those aren't the next five guys in line to be the face of the league once Curry and LeBron and KD dip out. So from the Lakers bringing that aspect into it to go out and get Luka completely makes sense to it now, because we got to have one of the top five big dogs on here because we're the Lakers. And when have we not had a top five big dog out here? Maybe a stretch of 2 years in the 90s after Magic and those guys left, but then the only thing that they did was go out and get Kobe and Shaq. It's going to be crazy to see how it goes. Hey, Lamelo Ball puts up good stats and he's good to watch, but he's not the face of the league. He's not the face of the league. He's going to have to get out of Charlotte and get somewhere. And Anthony Davis is a piece. Anthony Davis is a piece. Anthony Davis isn't box office, is what I'm saying. Not once in the last 5 years of him being out there did you ever buy a Laker ticket to say, I'm going to go see Anthony Davis. You bought the ticket because you were going to go see LeBron. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't know if AD has the potential to be. He's real injury prone, very injury prone. Surprised he didn't hurt himself signing the contract. And I'm not even sure if LaMelo is famous than the young middle brother right now. Whoa.
Oh, for real. Dude, he's bringing back that Cash Money early 2000s, late 90s type of vibe, bro.
Yes, sir. I don't care if he has him in the video. LaMelo Leangelo, the one who looked like a superstar right now.
Shit. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rocking to that song, man, for real.
Yeah, yeah. And it had to make me change my opinion on LeVar Ball. I think he should be nominated for Father of the Year. He winning.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All of his kids are set. And we was talking a whole bunch of shit about that dude 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Leangelo not having a professional career, let this rap shit keep coming up golden for him. And hey,
All he did was believe in his sons. And I'll be the first to say he was really pushing it, putting a ton of pressure on there. But we got to keep it real. How many people don't have a father in their lives? And this guy was 1,000,000% behind his sons the entire way.
absolutely. My only issue, Texas Power Ranger brings up Cooper Flag will be the best NBA player in the next 4 to 6 years. I need to see Cooper get pressed first, because right now there's nobody he plays with that can press him. And I get where he was at, and they talk about how he balled out at the USA Olympic thing. Um, But that's also a bunch of guys who had just come off playing an 82 game season and some of them going deep into the playoffs. So I'm going to need to see a little bit more from Cooper Flag. But to try to throw him into that right now with where these other guys are and what they've been able to do is a little unfair. A little unfair to that boy.
Mm-hmm. NBA is tough too, man.
Sure is.
Lots of guys make
Sure
the
is.
league. Very, very few stick in it.
Because if you'd have told me that Zion was going to get in the league and not have any kind of success other than a couple highlight dunks and one game where he balled out um, in the playoffs that they still ended up losing, I would have thought you were crazy. And John Morant just wants to be a doughboy too much. So until John Morant grows up, I can't put him on that list as well either. But as far as what's moving the needle, and think about it like this too, the NBA is moving towards an international product. That's why the streaming deals are so important to them to be able to get that content out as far as we don't really have to seek for it that hard here in the States. That's where their model is that they're going to go take over the oceans, and how better to do that with the international flavor. Plus, I think that the gap is closed a little bit too. I wouldn't be surprised in 2028 if we don't see. Cooper will show you that the league is just easy for some people. Best pure prospects is LeBron James. Zion has health issues. Will remain to be seen, Tommy. I don't ever mind saying I'm wrong if I get proven wrong, but we'll we'll be able to see that coming. But Cooper still got to show me a little bit more because right now he's a man amongst boys, and I'm not even sure. Like I want to see Duke up against them Auburn boys. I want to see Duke up against them Auburn boys, against some dudes who are just as athletic as him and has his exact size. And if he could go out there and do that against them in something competitive, then I might change my tone a little bit about Cooper Flag.
Well, and to top it off, Cooper's going to go to a shitty team. So he's going to come into the NBA as a marked man in the game plan and in the publicity. So it's going to be doubly hard on that. I'm really glad you brought up Zion, though. And I see Tommy commenting on him, too. I completely forgot about that dude. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, the dude is set for life. His family is set for generations. But if this guy had any drive, if he had any want to, that would be the face of the league right now. Because his talent at one point was unfreaking believable.
Absolutely. So just looking at the NBA standings right now as we head into the All-Star break here in a week or two, he would either end up going to Washington, Utah, or New Orleans.
Oof. You know
And
I want him
currently
in.
right
Oh no.
now, and currently right now, Washington is 5 games worse than Utah or New Orleans is. So yeah, he's going to end up in an unfavorable position in there in the nation's capital. Just, well, it might be his second team before he gets a shot to really shine and show what he is. Keep in mind, Wembyama has one of the greatest minds in the NBA, Greg Popovich, being able to stir that thing, and then they went out and got him Chris Paul. And even though it may not be able to pay dividends for where the Spurs are at now, being around those minds is going to teach him a lot more than if he were going to be in the position that Cooper Flag could potentially be in, playing in Washington with Kyle Kuzma.
I just still can't believe it. Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, man.
Yes, sir. Crazy. Crazy.
Lakers love it though. You're right. The Lakers always need to get that star. They always need to get that star. Whether it's Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, now it's Luka Doncic. They're always going for their guy.
Oh man, so you got the hat on. We are a Mariner Centered podcast. I'll swallow my disapproval of how they've handled things, and I guess we could talk about Jorge a little bit.
Well, the biggest news in baseball this offseason, the Mariners re-signing Jorge Polanco, former second baseman, most likely moving to third. It doesn't sound like much on his face, but to know that the guy got some knee surgery to clean some shit up, I'm happy about that because all season it looked like he was swinging all upper body. He had very limited mobility at second base. So I'm hoping that a healthier version of him we can see more of himself. But RG, there's been talks all off season, and I looked all of them up. T-Mobile is basically the Coors Field opposite. It's that hardcore, man. I looked at all of our main players pitching and hitting, and the discrepancy is incredible. Almost to a man, everybody has vastly different splits, home and away. And some of the biggest examples was like Bryce Miller, excuse me. Bryce Miller, Mariners starting pitcher, was under 2 ERA at home, over 4 on the road. And the biggest kicker, freaking Andres Munoz, bro, had a .28 ERA at home and it was like over 4 on the road. It's just a place where hitters come to die, and it makes me understand why it's so hard for us to sign guys in free agency unless you vastly overpay like a Robinson Cano type of contract. So I know nobody wants to hear it, but we got to pray that our homegrown hitters can pop in a couple years. I don't know what we're waiting for though. Now though, it might be the wrong timing, but you know what? This is baseball, and we haven't seen a back-to-back champ in about 25 years. So I'm hoping someone can upset the Dodgers, but Lord knows, on paper, that's a juggernaut.
Sure is, man. Sure is, bro. We'll definitely see how it goes. I think it's the Dodgers Invitational. As long as they happen to stay healthy, that pitching staff is just going to be a lot for people to deal with each and every week moving forward. I just, I just don't understand how things can go so right and so quickly so wrong for us. And I think what it is had the infamous press conference would have not happened, I wouldn't harp on it so much. But you got on TV and told me you're doing me a favor and still think that I'm going to go out and travel this country and invest in your product of something that I beloved. I would rather not go to a Mariner game and not see my boys play if it can keep my money out of your pocket because you're not going to go invest it in something that we need to be able to get better. The ultimate slap in the face to your fan base. But again, I don't tell people how to fan. You can cheer for it how you want to. Tyson Baxter says, come get a fresh arm. Come get a fresh young bat from Baltimore for one of those arms. I think so. I think so. We're not going to be able to make the type of move to get the type of offensive production we need while trying to hold on to that pitching staff. But we'll have 162 games to figure it out. I know we report here. What is it? 2-3 weeks down to Peoria. Hope we can make it through Peoria with some health. See if they happen to make a move before we get rocking at the end of March. And true to the blue. But man, just make it tough to not have a competitive team out there, especially when everybody else seems to be making moves to get better and willing to spend money. And we just keep buying retread tires.
Well, so it is for the Mariners. But there's a lot bigger fish to fry, man. We can harp on the Mariners all day long, but we know your boy RG is obviously looking forward to Super Bowl freaking Sunday in New Orleans. Philadelphia
Absolutely.
Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. Where's Bart
And
Scott?
we off to
Can't
a good
wait.
start. Your boy just smashed on prize picks. So now I got some extra money to put on some parlays, baby.
Woo-hoo!
Time to cook. 3 chicken wings with the fried rice, baby. Now it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be exciting. You already know who I'm riding with. Shit, from Philly till I die. Hopefully we get this thing done and we can slay the beast. I don't care. They might need to bring the refs. They may need to bring Roger Goodell. They may need to dig up Tupac for all I'm concerned. I think we get it done. We get it done without a question, no bullshit. And the Lombardi comes back to South Philadelphia and grabs a cheesesteak on the way.
There we go, man. Slide up those grease up those light poles, baby. And oh shoot, dude, we might as well say it. Rest in peace, man. There is a young man that was climbing a little too high and fell down celebrating the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Passed away. So deepest condolences. We don't want to see anybody young and pass away out here, but when you go out to party, you go out to cheer on your team, just please be smart about it.
Tyler Sabathy, an 18-year-old Temple University student, is the guy's name. So hate to see a young life pass, but also you're responsible for the things that happen to you. Make wiser choices.
Yeah.
Make wiser choices.
Party your ass off if your team wins, but be smart about it.
Yep. Do it like the old man does and party your ass off at home. Ain't no light pole you can climb in your house. I know that sounds, I'm not trying to make light of the dude's death. Death is sad and death is tough, regardless who it happens to under what circumstances. But yeah, I know I'm gonna be inebriated when we all get together next Sunday night, and the safest place for me to do that, right here on this couch, baby.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything else you got for the people?
Thanks to the live chat, man. And I'm thrilled for the freaking Super Bowl. And I might be watching a little more NBA now, but man, ain't no American holiday like Super Bowl Sunday, baby.
Super Bowl live watch party. Unfortunately, I'll be at work through the first half of the game. And by the time I get home, I'm not going to want to set up any of this. I'm either going to be happy that we're playing well, or I might be kicking my dog down the street saying, oh my God, I can't believe we lost to this curly haired bastard again. We'll see though. We'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll definitely keep you posted if we decide to move for that, but we will be on after the game. I'm just not sure in what type of sober condition I'm going to be in. I would take the over under on me being fucked up. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Oh, quick baseball news too. Former baseball commissioner Faye Vincent died today.
Oh,
and I wasn't alive during his tenure, but I believe he's the man that suspended Pete Rose for a lifetime. Now they get to chop it up at the table up in heaven, man. My oh my, it's another sports podcast coming to you live each and every Sunday here on YouTube and Twitch. We thank those of you rocking with us in the live chat. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at my oh my ASP. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram for up to date content as we happen to drop it out. A big shout out to our social media director, Miss Katie Matsumoto. Katie and Tyler's dog, Birdie, had a surgery to get a tumor removed, so send some prayers up for him. Birdie's a cool little dog. Let's ride with her to the finish line to get her better. Big shout out to our super producer, Indy from Vaden Broadcast Services, the one who puts this whole thing together for us and makes us look and sound like $1 million. Don't forget to check out his media page on YouTube. Death to Indy. Give his music some likes, give him some spins. We always invite you to hop on Discord here with us and be a part of the live show each and every Sunday night. Just send us a DM on our socials and we'll be sure to reach out to you to get you all the information we need. Nashville, Tennessee's own super producer Indy, rocking the ones and twos. That's my greatest tag team partner I've ever had in this media game, the homie Ty Talk 24. You know who I am, that boy RG. Fly, Eagles fly, and hopefully we see you on the road to victory next week for My Oh My. It's another sports podcast.